Hey guys, Urban Reddit here. How's it going? We're back with another subreddit series. Today it's ProRevenge, where we have a driver who likes to drive like an a-hole, a wife that left her husband and lied about him, and also a wife that cheats on her husband, abuses her kids, and lies in court. But let's get right into it. Story number one, rather. This one's called Drive Like an A-Hole, Enjoy Your Wrecked Truck. This is not my story, but rather my grandfather's. A little background: my grandfather has a very short fuse when it comes to dealing with other people bullcrap. He's sort of mellowed out as he has gotten older, but when he was younger I've been told his temper was legendary. At the time of this story, my grandfather was living on a small farm next to his house, a raised levee that was made of dirt and covered in loose gravel. The levee formed a backyard, C-shaped, as it went by his house since it followed the path of the river, with his house on the outside curve. This, along with trees on both sides of the road, created a blind curve in the road that will be important later. During harvest season, numerous trucks would pass by his house to and from various farms in the area to pick up produce. Well, I think that needs a comma in there somewhere, mate. And to take it where it needed to go. A problem arose, however, when truck drivers started ignoring the posted speed limit, 10 to 15 miles an hour, and going too fast around the forementioned curve. The speeding caused the trucks to throw rocks, gravel, and huge clouds of dust down into my grandfather's house on a daily basis. Naturally, this was quite annoying, as his backyard was getting covered in dust and the rear of his house was constantly peppered by rocks. That's not good. First, he tried speaking to the truck drivers themselves, which went nowhere. Then he tried talking to the owners of the trucking company, which didn't go anywhere either. He put up homemade signs on the stretch of the road asking the trucks to slow down, but this was to no avail. At this point, my grandfather realized that he was going to have to do something more provocative to get their attention. So one night he got his tractor out with a bulldozer blade on the front, scraped up some dirt and built a homemade speed bump just around the curved bend of the road. And I don't mean a modern, mostly flat speed bump either, 3 to 4 inches tall by his own estimation. This thing was around 8 to 10 inches. Wow. In the centre, so more like a small mound. To top it all off, it was perfectly positioned so that the time a driver saw it, it would be too late to even try and slow down. He hadn't have to wait long to see the results. The very next morning he was sitting in his kitchen when he heard a loud crashing noise outside. Upon investigating, he found a truck that had fallen right into his trap. He had driven around the curve going way too fast, hit the mound full speed, lost control, and driven straight off a 25-foot excuse me there, guys. Driven straight off a 25-foot levee into a giant olive tree. This completely wrecked the truck, as the tree hadn't budged at all in the impact. Well, it must have been a pretty big tree for that. The driver, though stunned by the accident, was mostly unharmed and proceeded to have a new a-hole ripped by my grandfather over his speeding. As you can imagine, there was no more speeding from those truckers ever again. The cherry on top was a company that owned the trucks actually had to pay him to use his tractor to pull the truck back onto the road, as the area was too far from town for any tow trucks to come out, and no one else in the area had a big enough tractor. Wow, his granddad was a really badass. Well, it seems he got a bit of compensation there as well for all the dirt and rocks that got pelted into his house. I would say good on him, but you know, what about like car drivers going around the bend? Wouldn't that pose even more risk, considering they're lower to the ground? Anyway, let's move on to the next one, shall we? This one is called My Wife Left Me, Lied About Me, I Got Revenge. My wife decided to take a long break after a month and a half ago. No, I read that wrong. Let me try again, shall I? My wife decided to take a week-long break about a month and a half ago. She said it had nothing to do with me, just needed some time on her own. I let her go and encouraged her even. I only wanted what was best for her. The very next day she started posting on social media saying a bunch of things like, I loved the wrong person and you deserve someone that supports you, etc. Standing on the outside, it's easy to assume I did something wrong here, but honestly, I'm a romantic guy. I gave 110% into making sure the love of my life had everything. Here's the revenge bit. She asked for a divorce and has been making baseless lies about me to everyone I know over the last month and a half. Well, 2 weeks ago she got laid off and I've been collecting unemployment. I just finished filling her form to report her for fraud since she was working 2 jobs under the table. That paid more than her previous job and collecting unemployment on top of it. I also made sure to get her to text me details about said jobs and screen cap them. Legally, I know I'm in the right, but it's still a shifty, vindictive thing to do. But honestly, I feel so good for screwing her over, knowing she won't be able to afford the house that she kicked me out of anymore. Edit for those concerned about my cat. I can't take him. No pet policy at my was. There's nothing in here about a cat, was there? No, I don't think there were. Oh well, I don't know about that. We do have some images here, guys, but I'll leave the link in the bottom of the description, and if you guys would actually like to look at them, I'm not going to do that myself. But it seems he got revenge. But, you know, I don't see why somebody has to lie to their friends about a person, you know, if they don't want to be with them. At least she did the right thing and said, you know, she wanted a break instead of cheating on him instead. Anyway, let's get on to the next one. Wife cheats on her husband, abuses the children, and lies on court. I think that's in court. Enjoy not having your kids anymore. Good day, you know the deal. English not first language. Where have I heard that before? Mobile, yada yada is also my first post, so be gentle. Podcast we have Mommy, Empty Human, Sister Me, and my dad. I have no concrete dialogue for this story since it happened about 4 years ago, and I pretty much want to forget about it. Nah, some background. My mother is not exactly the best person in the world. She used to abuse me and my sister, both physically and mentally. I know how that feels. Mostly mentally. Avoid responsibilities at home, and she also decided to cheat on my dad with several men around 13 years ago, and never stopped. When my father discovered this, he simply stopped sleeping in the same room and stopped being affectionate towards her. He stayed with her for us, sister and I, and decided to raise us basically alone since Mum was always outside with her partners. My mother used to simply arrive home to eat, sleep, and hurt me or my sister. The rest of the day she claimed to be working overtime. However, all the money she made was kept away from us, and my father had to do a deal overtime to take care of us, and he was tired of not getting any help. Here's where my dad's revenge plan starts. He stayed quiet for a long time and managing work and parenting very well, but in the meantime he was collecting all the evidence he could about my mum cheating, as well as evidence of abuse towards sister and I. And he also kept supporting us, teaching us how to stand up for ourselves and each other, helping us understand how bad Mum's behaviour was, and we don't need to justify her bad treatment just for being our mother. He kept being the best person he could for about 10 years until sister and I were old enough to testify in court. Then he immediately asked for divorce and got it very easily since Mum kept lying about how he was abusing me and my children. But, of course, he had proof of her cheating and being an abuser, so they got divorced, but the plan didn't end there, since he wanted us to live with him. My dad left our house immediately after the divorce, and 2 weeks later I moved in with him. My sister stayed with Mum. Let's skip some months until the court date to discuss the kids' custody. About 6 months prior, my mother lied about me living with her so she could get that sweet child support check. But when the court date arrived, sister and me testified against her, explained how bad of a mother she was, etc. And I said that I had been living with my dad for months, contrary to what my mother had said. Of course she wanted to play the victim with lies, which we refuted. The judge was not having it and told her that she needs to stop lying because it was being fined for lying to a judicial authority. Of course she lost our custody and was forced to return the child support money to us. Well, good, but at least the kids will get something from her, at last. Doesn't mean to say the rest of it that she owes though. Now she lives alone and sometimes tries to replay the forgive me. I know I did wrong card with us only to ask for money right after, but none of us want to see her again. Not exactly a massive sweet evil revenge, but after I told my dad about this sub, he told me I should post a story. I hope it actually belongs here. The child support thing in my country, when parents divorce, it's the other parent who gives the money to the one with custody of the children. We call that money child support, but in this case, where both parents have only one child at their care, they get nothing from each other. My mom said she had both of us to get money from my dad, but that was a lie. Edit. His post is still small, but I'm reading the comments to my father and he loves the support. He is happy with you guys. Thanks a lot for that. Oh, that's nice. It sounds like a typical story then, you know, a woman has kids just so that she can get money, well, make money off the children rather. I've heard this story all too much rather, and it is actually quite sad. You know, the mother, she doesn't want anything to do with the children. All they want really is money. Hat off to their father, you know, for actually taking things to court and getting custody of them. Anyway guys, that's all the time I've got for now. If you enjoyed today's video, then please do leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. But until then, I shall see you all in the next video. Bye bye!